sing,
and Tommy can't dance.
so we're gonna put some ants in their pants. Aww, they'll walk like a monkey, hop like a bunny. Isn't that funny? Ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants. They've got ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants. Ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants. They got ants in their pants. They've got ants in their pants.
One more time.
Jimmy can't sing,
And Tommy can't dance.
so we're gonna put some ants in their pants. Aww.
Kids will spend 22 minutes watching us, the super duper party troopers, sing about ants in their pants.
Isn't that funny? Ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants. They've got ants in their pants. They've got...
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
If you are a number 1, take a pencil only to the table.
I was actually born in deep South Georgia in Valdosta, but it was shortly after that my family moved to Florida, but the bulk of my schooling was actually done in Athens, Georgia. Everybody's heard of Athens because of the University of Georgia. Interesting story, I started kindergarten there and graduated from college there. I actually didn't major in education. I thought that I had aspirations of law school. I was that high school student who said, I'm gonna be a doctor or a lawyer, but didn't really think about what either of those careers really meant. Graduated kind of top of my class and thought, law school, that's what you do. At UGA, I majored in international affairs, had a minor in sociology, was just shy of a minor in religion, and it was probably my senior year when I saw a flyer for Teach for America. And I thought, you know what? That's actually what I want to be doing. And so Teach for America kind of acted as my gateway into what I really wanted to do. Like looking back, I was the little girl who set her dolls up and taught them the lesson she learned at school that day. I was the teacher's pet. I was the one who, when there was a child in the class who didn't get it and the teacher was overwhelmed, asked me to go and help. So I think all along I wanted to be a teacher, but it wasn't until my senior year when I saw that flyer that I decided to really jump into education. From there I was placed here, actually at this exact school, did my 2 years, and really solidified the fact that this is not only what I wanted to be doing, but what I was born to do. I think I realized I wanted to be a teacher almost instantaneously after joining Teach for America. We had a summer program, and basically our teacher training is like boot camp, and they throw you into a summer school. And I got put at Deerwood Academy in Atlanta Public, and probably the first 5 minutes in front of the kids, I realized how much I could be myself. When you're around adults, you have to sort of be reserved, and even talking now, I feel like I need to sit up tall and say the right things, but with kids you can be relaxed and you can have fun. I automatically realized that I had a love of music that I didn't even realize I had before. We were making beats and learning songs to help us with the content, and I was forming relationships with kids within a week that I knew I needed to be there for them, but also I was having so much fun myself. Then when I got to my placement here at EC West, it just continued. I heard horror stories, to be honest, about people's first years, but my first year was a blast. I loved the kids. Every day I got to come to school, I can wear costumes, I can talk in accents, I can dance around. My first year was the stanky leg, and I remember the kids teaching me the stanky leg and laughing in my face. But the openness and receptiveness of the children, especially at the school, and my ability to reach them, I knew that this is what I needed to be doing. I start each morning at 6:30 a.m. I arrive to the classroom, and I go ahead and I get in order exactly what I want to be done. I make a list, and every second counts. I'm the teacher who gets mad when we get called for an assembly, because I'm thinking, well, that was 20 minutes of instruction that we were supposed to be learning. But really what I find is the more planned I am, the more gets done, obviously, but also the better the behavior is in the classroom. So every second in my classroom, I have a plan for what we're going to do, including transitions. So we don't ever just walk from point A to point B. We are singing, we are dancing, or we are counting down. I really like to do the skip count songs because I like as much as I can to also integrate some sort of education into all of the transitions.
I want to hear your voices at about 65. Sevens, sneaky, that man, go. 7, 21, 28, 35, 42, 46, 63, 70, 77, 77.
I'm competing with computer games, I'm competing with television shows, I'm competing with such an overdrive of input that these kids have all day. I like to think of myself as another cartoon character. And the more I jump around, and the more animated I am, and the funnier I am, and the more accents I use, the more students I keep with me. I'm constantly counting how many kids aren't actually with me. And when even 1 or 2 are staring into space, I just work harder. If it takes jumping up on a table or cracking a joke that wasn't necessarily planned, it's what I'm going to do to try to keep everybody with me.
My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
I wouldn't use this one.
He helps me with my decision making,
Ever.
and he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just looking at Fulton County on our social media networks. To stay up to date with the latest and greatest news in Fulton County, be sure to tune in to our Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube accounts.
I think anybody can learn to be a good teacher. You know, good teaching is about planning, good teaching is about strategies, good teaching is about behavior management, but I think what makes a difference maker is the love and the passion, and I'm sure you've heard that a million times, but it really, really is the difference. I take pride in the fact that my 5th graders that I taught last year are always coming back to my room when they need something. I think kids can read what's fake and what's real. And when a kid knows that you're really on their side and you really love them, they'll work harder. My entire management system is based off of whole brain teaching, and it's a happy teacher, sad teacher. Well, if you don't love your teacher and you don't think your teacher loves you, you don't care if she's sad. But if you really respect her and know she cares about you, then the disappointment that could happen matters to you. So all in all, I think that what makes an excellent teacher is someone who is willing to put aside themselves and work hard even when they're tired. Someone who can show the students that there really is love and there really is care, and someone who puts the kids first. I mean, in reality, I come to school sick a lot. I spend 4 or 5 hours on Sunday planning. I'm always tired. But it doesn't matter because I'm not what's important. What's important is student learning. A good teacher doesn't take her lunch break. She tutors during lunch. A good teacher stays after school. A good teacher asks the kids how they're doing and listens for the response. And I think a good teacher is remembered 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, not for their extraordinary fractions lesson, but for the way that they made the student feel.
Oh, look, a redhead.
Staring contest!
You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
They were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Separate raw meats from other foods by using different cutting boards. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
You can pick August, Julian, Jack, Via, Summer, and you're going to tell me about what they look on the inside, the outside, their emotions, how they were at the beginning of the story, and how they were at the end.
I'm Erin Nissenbaum, and I teach 5th grade at Statebridge Crossing Elementary. I absolutely love my job. I grew up in Miami, Florida with the warm summer sun, and then I went to the University of Florida and I got my master's there. It was a 5-year program where you went consecutively into the master's year, and I had my internship in my master's year, and then when it was time to graduate and I had this, master's in elementary education with a specialization in literacy, I was like, where do I want to go? I knew I could go anywhere, and I didn't really want to go back home. I just wanted a change. So I went out on a search and I had a list of criteria, and I decided I was going to choose between Charlotte and Atlanta. And when I went to visit Atlanta, Atlanta just won the race. So here I am. I've been at Statebridge Crossing for 8 years, and I absolutely love it. Outside of the classroom, I love to be with my friends, spend time with my family when I have that free time. I love to go on walks. I like to scrapbook, cook with my husband, just kind of keep myself active and do different things. But I have to admit that outside time has become smaller and smaller and smaller each year. After school with the students, I'm always available to help in the morning, at lunch, or after school as students need it. In addition, I have these money fun bucks, Ms. Nissenbaum's Fun Money Rewards, and as the students earn them in the classroom, they have opportunities to cash them in. So for instance, last year we went bowling on a Saturday. We've gone to Stevie B's on a Saturday, and these are for students who've earned that extra money in the classroom. They think it's kind of like real money, but then we go out and we do something fun on a Saturday or even after school, where we've done like a tie-dye event or a water balloon fight, and just kind of had these extra moments to celebrate their joys and their accomplishments in the classroom. It's funny because sometimes I often think what made me want to be a teacher, and I think back, I just recently read this to my students about how when I was in 6th grade I wrote a paper about how I wanted to be a teacher when I grow up, I didn't realize that until my mom had sent me the form that I wrote, and it was kind of oh wow, I actually accomplished what I wanted to accomplish, and I don't even think I knew that. When I set out, when I went to go and figure out what I wanted my major to be in college, I knew several things. I knew I wanted to make an impact on others, that every day when I woke up, I wanted to love my job and to be excited and for each day to be different. But above all those things, I just wanted to know that each day that I was making a difference in someone else's life, that I was giving back to the people who made me who I was. And education just really seemed to fit that. It kind of hit all those notches of those things that I wanted. And so I decided, why not? Let's see it. And I always loved being around kids, so I knew that was a natural fit. So I felt like having those both come together really made sense. And I've always said, if just every year one kid can remember me when they're older, then I've done my job. If I can just make an impact on one kid, hopefully I've made an impact on more than that, but I know that I can remember all my teachers, so hopefully one day one of these students in my room can remember me the way I remember my teachers.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
There is no such thing as a typical day, but I normally wake up around 5:30, hit my snooze as many times as I can manage, and then I get up and I'm normally out the door between 6:15 and 6:20, and I'm at school by 6:45, finishing up anything that I need to do, getting settled for the day, making sure that I'm ready, and then I continue on. We have math. The kids come in the room right at 7:20. We normally have a little morning routine, and then we start math right after morning announcements, and after math we have real time where we get to enrich and really extend the learning of the students. And then I have a short little break where I can make my copies, work on plans, and then language arts, and then we go to lunch, and then we go to recess, and then we have social studies. It is a jam-packed day. And then after school, I grade papers, figure out what I'm gonna make sure I'm ready for the next day, answer emails. It's kind of an ongoing process. My husband has come in a couple times throughout my years, and he always is amazed that he's like, I always forget what you do, like, and what it's like. You're very busy, and it's true, we're very busy. My teaching style is really hands-on. I like to have kids in groups. I like them to talk to each other. I like them to sometimes think about it, then partner up, and then share what they've done. A lot of times you'll see my students in groups or using technology. Our classroom is set up in an inspired classroom setting where each 4 kids have a computer. So a lot of times they'll be working on something with that. They're often talking. My classroom is normally not quiet, and if it is quiet, the kids are really interested into the task, and they're really delving into it deep, and they're really focused, which is so wonderful to see. I like to have a good time with my kids and be really enthusiastic and all over the place with them, and then they know how to like reel back in when it's time to really focus and get something done. I think that a difference maker or an effective teacher is one that really stops to get to know his or her students. that knows them, what makes them tick, what excites them, what motivates them, and then uses that to their advantage. They change instruction as needed. They try and make things engaging and fun for students. They're really committed to that work. And when they go to think about what they need for their students, they really analyze, okay, my students get this, but they don't get this. So I might need to group my students, or I might need to differentiate what I'm doing. They really just stop and think and really love teaching and really try their best to make that impact as broad as they can with the students.
Quiet, please. Wait a sec. I'll take one. Oh yeah. All right. All good. Take care. Way to go. Nice. Bring it on. Gotcha. I'm here for you. Oh no. Please, please, please. I'm waiting. Interesting. Not buying it. Not fair. That's it. This conversation is over. Oh, brother.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things.
I'm having a stroke. I'm having a stroke.
Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time. Time to call 911 immediately. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Learn the body language, the sudden signs, and spot a stroke fast.
No more pencils, no more books. No more teachers' dirty looks. School's out for summer. School's out forever. School's out with fever. School's out completely.
What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%. And it can happen in every place.
To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org, because great things happen when we live united.
I realized I wanted to be a teacher when I felt like I could really make a difference. You know, I was in broadcasting, but in the back of my mind, I always knew I could make a difference with kids. And it was just a matter of the timing being right. And it was right, kind of like a pivotal point in my life. I just turned 30 at that particular point in time. I had a lot of things going on, and it just seemed like all the dominoes all fell so that where I could become one. But I had, in my mind, I couldn't be Uncle Buck. I had to be I had to be like a Ron Clark, somebody that could professionally manage students to do their best. But all the other dominoes all fell along the way, using data, professional things. And I still have a lot to learn. Every day I come to work, it's never a perfect day. I don't think there ever will be a perfect day, and there's certain things I got to get better at, but I feel like I have a great support team here to help me do that. Well, before we take a test, we'll either Kahoot, where we'll take some similar items that we'll use on the test. I'll either use a Kahoot, where it's technology. I let the kids know ahead of time, the day before, 2 days before, to bring in their cell phones. We know we can't keep them out of school, so we tell them to bring them at the appropriate moments, and then I'll even send out a reminder electronically so they know to bring that. and so that the questions that that they can expect to see, that they'll get one last, kind of fresh look at it. Or in the case of what you saw today in the video, we actually had a PowerPoint of areas to see if the kids could identify those particular parts, in this case of Africa. And so the students they got to pull the stick. If a student didn't know it, they weren't penalized for it. I like to have kids get up and move around the room. We didn't get to a whole lot today because of the test and the PowerPoint, but they got to. That if you choose A, they can go to the one side of the classroom, B another side, C another, D another. But you saw those kids, they weren't buying it. They all went to the one side of the classroom because they knew where the answer was, because they were very well prepared. And they got to see that confidence that they got from their friends. Because if I say it, they learn something, but I'm an adult. When they get that peer thing going, that's what they really like. If I sit up there and lecture and they listen, they get 10% out of it. But when they teach each other, which they do in the Kagan techniques of cooperative learning, the kids retain roughly 80 to 90%, hopefully 90% of what they learn. And their scores reflect that. They really do. I mean, these kids, they go from not, maybe knowing something about it, but afterward, I mean, these kids are scoring 90s and 100s, and even the kids on the lower end, that they're getting 60s and 70s, but that's a few. Most of them are getting 80, 90, and 100 on these Kahoots. And I mean, they are really getting it, and they're taking it into the post-test that they'll have maybe a week later. So to me, that's really important, that cooperative learning, and where the kids feel free to take a risk. And I felt like they felt free to take a risk in front of their classmates. I only had maybe one student all day that just said, I really don't know. Everybody took that risk. And in the one class I had it where kids could say, all right, choose a friend. And the kids actually got so nutty, I had to kind of end that. But it was Friday, and I was trying to help them out. And I thought the kids were very, very engaged. I think differentiating the instruction is very, very important. Not all things work for all kids. I've had lessons where some kids learn better through technology. You're delivering the same thing, really, but some kids learn better having a phone in their hand, or they're getting the information that way, or getting it on one of the 2 computers I have in my class. I do a lot of work with the data, where I'll have high students with low. I have a little pinwheel. It's just a simple little cutout construction paper that's laminated. I work the wheel so different kids of different abilities work with each other. If I did that every day, they'd be bored. But I try different 4 or 5 research-based techniques, and they seem to all work out. I mean, my principal, her stuff, it works. My colleagues, there are things that work. Fulton County, there are things that work. Things I've learned, it works. So I try to keep it where the kids they're on their toes. If I do the same thing every day, if I showed a movie every day, they love it the first day. I haven't showed a movie yet this year. I've shown short videos, but nothing works every day.
Thank you.